feels kind of weird when I'm talking about a show for the Games of 90 that's still currently on the air. However, I kind of feel this as a remembrance of how great a show once was. Case in point, for this edition of the Games of 90, we're talking about Wheel of Fortune and reminiscing about how great it was both in nighttime and daytime as well.
Wheel of Fortune!
From our studios in Hollywood, it's America's most watched game show. The famous wheel is spinning your way with lots of cash and an assortment of fabulous and exciting prizes. Over $103,000 just waiting to be won this week. And now, here are your host and hostess, Pat Sajak and Vanna White.
Okay, thanks, Charlie. Thanks, folks. Bye. Bye. See you later. Thank you very much. And welcome to Wheel of Fortune.
People who weren't alive in the 80s and early 90s will never realize just how popular Wheel of Fortune really was. Everybody played along at home with the contestants and was the most dominant game show in syndication, unseating Family Feud for the top spot in 1984, and would stay there for years until being bumped off by Feud again recently, thanks to Steve Harvey. The show was a huge success in both daytime and nighttime, and both with vastly different hosts. I'm not going to bore you with the rules of Wheel of Fortune since everybody knows how the game is played. Instead, what I'm going to do is explain just what changed from when Wheel of Fortune moved from the 1988-89 syndicated season to the 1989-1990 season and beyond. Also, we're also going to talk about the new daytime version of Wheel of Fortune after the failed Rolf Benirschke experiment. So with that being said, let's head to nighttime. As seen a couple of moments ago, the show not only got a new, more generic-looking logo, but a brand new, jazzed-up version of the Changing Keys theme. In my opinion, the revamped Changing Keys theme is the best theme that the show has ever had. On the looks front, the sunburst backdrops have been replaced by shield-looking backdrops. It looks much better than the sunburst and gives an indication that the show was evolving. Although the way the game was played up front didn't change, the bonus round got a new wrinkle. Because everybody and their mother decided to go for either the $25,000 or the car, leaving other desirable prizes like a speedboat or really undesirable prizes like the shipboard party unpicked, the 5 prizes for the week were now hidden in envelopes behind the letters in the word wheel. The champ picks one of the letters, and if they solve the puzzle, they win what was in the envelope, and that prize is gone for the rest of the week. The biggest change, though? Returning champions are now a thing. Originally, the contestants were one and done. Now, the contestants can stay on for up to 3 shows, meaning they could win upwards of over $100,000. Some contestants actually did do that, with one moment having Pat to put up a paper 1 to make the readout right, since the readouts were only 5 digits on the big backdrops. This made for more exciting play, in my opinion. Seeing someone do well at a game and winning tons of cash and possibly a car or 2 is a big draw. This is the best that Wheel of Fortune has ever been, in my opinion. The set looked great and had some life into it. Pat was sharp as attack and felt refreshed most of the time. Vanna was Vanna, and the Returning Champions edition along with the random bonus prize pick added some great drama to the show. The current show could look at bringing back some of the older elements to breathe life into what I honestly believe is kind of a stagnant show. Now that we've talked about the nighttime version, let's talk about the daytime version. The daytime version was actually making changes to kind of make it more like the nighttime version after the failed Rolf Benirschke experiment. One of the big changes, they moved from NBC to CBS after NBC and Merv Griffin Productions couldn't quite negotiate a price for a renewal. And the second one was a really big host change.
Look at this studio filled with lots of exciting prizes, including a new $5,000 cash bonus. This sporty little compact car. And the wonderfully romantic Caribbean cruise. Plus thousands of dollars in cash. All waiting to be won on today's show. Yes, from Television City in Hollywood, it's Wheel of Fortune. And now, here's your host, Bob Goen.
players, and hello to you at home. Welcome, one and all. Boy, it is great to be here at our new home at CBS.
Replacing Now You See It, Wheel of Fortune made its CBS debut in July of 1989. Immediately looking at the intro, you notice that the buyable prizes are now gone. Like how the nighttime version copied the daytime version with returning champions, the daytime version copied the nighttime version with an all-cash format. As expected, the cash amounts were lower than the nighttime counterpart, but these values were even lower than that of the Benirschke version, with the top dollar value in round 1 only being $500, and the top value at all on the wheel was $1,250, something that stopped being a thing since 1978, and the lowest amounts on the wheel being $50 and $75, something that stopped being a thing in 1975. It looked like a more cut-rate version of the nighttime game. That's not to say that it ruins the game. Far from it, in fact. What also doesn't ruin the show is the massive upgrade from Rolf Benirschke as host to Bob Goen. Before Wheel, Bob had mainly done nothing but disasters in short-lived shows such as Perfect Match, Blackout, and the Home Shopping Game. Here, he was given a solid format, and he shined even more so than in those shows. He also hosts a show different from Pat, whereas Pat was more snarky for the time, Bob was more genial and kind to the players. He was happy to have seen contestants win some money, even if it was just a minimum of $200 for solving a puzzle. Also, I'd like to think Pat did give Bob Goen the seal of approval, as this clip shows.
$1,250, top dollar value on the wheel. We also have one more special.
What is all this stuff? How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. You're not offended by all this, are you?
No.
No?
Hi. Folks want some free spins?
Yeah, no.
Listen, I'll be brief. I know you have a game to play. You know, he's taller and better looking than I am. I just hate this guy.
Okay. Well, the dress the same.
You know, now that you're at CBS and I'm like a veteran of this network.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've been here for
6 months?
Yeah, I'm one of the longest running shows they have. So, and I just wanted to wish you luck and wish you well.
Thank you.
It's good seeing you here.
Thank you. I'm gonna try.
Isn't he doing a swell job? I mean, already.
I'm going to try to take over the nighttime version, too, if that's okay.
And let me just say this. Be good to Vanna.
Oh, believe me.
How you doing, kid?
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you later.
Yeah, okay.
Nice.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
Bob. Good to have you. Thanks, folks. Bye-bye. Good luck.
I don't know. I just feel so violated. Anyway.
So, gameplay-wise, what was different from the daytime and nighttime versions? Well, not a lot. The daytime version had more prizes on the wheel than the nighttime version. The nighttime wheel usually had one prize in round 2, and round 4 added a second prize. Daytime had one prize in round 2, added 2 more in round 3, and one final one in round 4. For certain occasions, a prize was on the wheel at the start, namely the Armed Forces Week in 1990. But you know what, I'll get to that one in a future GSG induction. Hint, hint. As for the bonus round, the prizes weren't as extravagant as the nighttime counterpart. They had your basic lineup of cash, car, trip, luxury item, and something nobody cared for. The car was usually a sedan, somewhere between the $7,000 to $12,000 range. The cash was always $5,000 in cash. Since the contestants got to pick their bonus round prize instead of the envelopes in the nighttime version, they normally would pick the cash or the car. But if somebody wins that bonus round prize and comes back on the next show, they can't play for that same prize twice. So if somebody wins the $5,000 and comes back the next day, they can't pick the cash. While the show was good as it ever was, the show wouldn't last long on CBS. On January 11, 1991, the daytime wheel would leave CBS and move back to NBC on January 14th. It would stay there for 9 more months to help out their ailing daytime lineup until NBC canceled it on September 20th, 1991. That would be the end of Wheel of Fortune's daytime run of over 16 years. One of the most iconic game shows of all time had its daytime counterpart canceled due to the changing climate of daytime TV. Game shows weren't in vogue, and instead the trashy talk shows would start to fill the void. Those would be the new draw on syndication, something that would be replaced by court shows by the end of the decade. I didn't have that many childhood memories of Goen's tenure, mainly because I was in preschool during the time it was on, so I didn't get to see it as much as the nighttime version, which is why I'm thankful for the tape traders out there who still have these episodes in circulation. Looking back at his tenure, I could tell he was a stellar host, and I'm actually happy that he had one show that he had a decent-sized run on. But Wheel of Fortune still rolls on during the nighttime. Everybody is still flocking to those tryouts via the Wheelmobile or what their network set up. They're always wanting to spin the wheel for cash, luxurious trips, possibly a car if they run upon the right combination. and it's still okay to watch right now. I'm sorry, I believe it's stagnant right now, so I'm not as interested as it is now as it once was back in the 90s and early 2000s. That's going to do it for this edition of the Games of 90, and since we talked about Wheel of Fortune this month, next month we'll talk about Jeopardy during this time period, and mainly the big Super Jeopardy $250,000 tournament. Or as they called it, the $250,000 challenge. Until next time, bye-bye!